Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am making chicken and dumplings. I'm using dark meat. You can use white meat as well. I just like using the dark because to me it makes a better broth or gravy. To season this, I'm going to have a seasoning blend which has onions, celeries, and pepper. If you don't have the seasoning blend, you can use onion and a little bit of celery if you want to use it that way. I'm going to season it with salt, pepper, garlic, and my crazy mixed up salt. I'm going to brown the meat with a little bit of canola oil on the bottom. And I've got chicken broth here just in case. This is mainly if I taste my gravy and it doesn't really have enough chickeny flavor, I will add a little bit of this. But this is going to be kind of a maybe. I just pulled it out just in case. I'm going to be making my dumplings with Pioneer baking mix mixed with milk. So let me get the chicken all cut up and get everything started, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so I have the chicken cut up. Now with the chicken, I use the boneless, skinless, dark meat because it's easier to just chop up than it is that you have to put your chicken in here, you have to boil it, you have to pull it out, you have to shred it, put it back in and all that stuff. This just makes it easier to me, but if you want to do it the other way. So I poured my my blend in here. If I had to say, I would say put 1.5 cups of onion and celery in here. So, and then on the seasonings, you're just going to sprinkle everything. I'm going to start here with my seasoning blend. And as I do every time, I pretty much just sprinkle enough seasoning to cover the top. And you're going to, I put enough grease to cover the bottom. And all you're doing here is you are browning the meat and cooking down the vegetables, so that it just, to me, it just makes a good gravy. A lot of people go ahead and just go straight to the boiling process, and if you want to do it that way, that's fine as well. Okay, so while this is doing, I'm going to, once I get this brown and get the water added, I'm going to make the dumplings, and I'll show you how those are done. Okay, so I have all the meat. It is browned, and the vegetables, as you, well, it's kind of steamy. They're clear now. So I'm going to start adding my water. Now on the water, you're going to want to cover the meat, but as well cover, I would say double over the chicken so that you have plenty of gravy, because once you add in your dumplings, of course, it's going to thicken your gravy. I'm sure it's going to take a little bit more water than this, but I'm going to get this started. I'm going to put this on medium-low and let it simmer while I'm getting the dumplings done. Okay? Okay, so I mixed up the Pioneer mix, 3 cups of Pioneer mix and 1 cup of milk. If you wanted to do all-purpose flour, you would do 3 cups of all-purpose, cup of milk, an egg, and a teaspoon of soda. I'm pretty sure. You might have to look that up. Anyway, so once you get it mixed up, and you're going to put it on a paper or on your cabinet with flour or with more Pioneer mix, and you're going to roll it out. If you can't find your rolling pin, like I couldn't, you can always flour a cup, a glass, and you just roll it out like that. You're going to want it to be thin. Once you've got it thin, you're going to cut it into thin strips. Okay? And then I'm just going to do like a little small one. And then you're just going to cut it like this. Okay? Now, once you get these cut up, and remember, you're going to need them floured because the extra flour on these will help thicken up your gravy. So you're going to make sure it's really thin and it's got flour on it, and you're going to take this, and while your chicken broth is thickening up and getting nice and flavorful, you're going to put this in the freezer, and you're going to want to put this in the freezer for at least 30 minutes, so that way they get hard and they also get to where they don't immediately kind of fall apart when you put them in the hot liquid. Okay, so I'm going to get all these cut up, and then once the meat's ready, I'll go to. Okay, so this has been boiling for around 30 minutes. I did add more salt, pepper, mixed up salts, and a cup. I did go ahead and add a cup of the chicken broth and another cup of water. Not so much for the flavor, but because I want more. I didn't want just a small pot. I do want enough to kind of go a couple of days. So anyway, so that's that. Now at this point, a lot of people, because again they use regular chicken and they have to pull it out and tear it and all that stuff, then they add in their dumplings and then they put the chicken back in. But since I've already cut this up, and this is always the way I've done it, you want to pull the chicken out and just use the, the gravy for the dumplings, that's fine. It's completely up to you. This is just how I've always done it. So these are the dumplings that I made. And as you can see, you know, they're about this size. So you just start adding them in there. Now, I would say, you know, add them a little bit at a time. You need the water to be boiling when you add this. And I could have let this in the freezer longer. You can even make these dumplings the night before if you know you're going to be making chicken and dumplings. And then that way they're hard frozen. But this way they just get cold so they don't, you know, immediately blow up and turn into a mush ball. At least that's what, you know, my experience. So I'm just going to get these added in. As you can see, you just kind of drop them in. Once they get in here and the water's at a good rapid boil again, I'm going to lower it to a medium-low heat. I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let this finish cooking for approximately 30 minutes or until the dumplings are done, okay? All right, well, let me get these added in, and I'll show you how they look when it's all said and done.